Okay, so this exercise is one where you learn how to align shapes into rows and then how to adjust the spacing between the shapes. And we're going to need to probably shrink things down so that they fit. What you're going to end up with is 6 rows of 6 shapes each. So first off, maybe just grab your 2 shapes that you've dragged over. So this is the motif from exercise 5 and the motif from exercise 6. One made with filter effects, the other made with Pathfinder tool. So we're going to hold shift when you shrink them. And notice I'm grabbing them all just by using the black arrow and drawing a box around them both. They should each be grouped too. That's very important. Before you start, make sure that when you select with the black arrow, it's grabbing the whole piece of the shape and not so your shape won't fly apart, because otherwise when you start using the align tools, if they're not locked together into one unit, they're going to fly apart on you. So if they aren't grouped, draw a box around each one individually and go to Object and choose Group. Or Command G is the shortcut. Alright, now I'm going to grab both, and then grabbing from the corner and holding shift so that they don't warp, I'm going to shrink them down. Now, one important thing, we went and under Illustrator, we went to Preferences, and under General, we marked this check mark, Scale, Strokes, and Effects. That's super important because if you don't have that checked, when you scale down, the strokes are going to stay the same thickness and the effects are going to stay the same strength even though it's getting smaller, and it's going to change everything. So very important that you go ahead and have that clicked. Another thing that's important is that all your shapes should be, your appearance should be expanded before you start copying them a bunch and making a bunch of rows. And so I would make sure that you select and then go to Object and choose Expand Appearance, and then you can do that with the other one too. And that way the computer isn't going to be running those effects. So it kind of finalizes things. Once you do that, you cannot edit those effects, really. You're stuck with them. But it's important because if you don't do it and you start having a whole bunch, it's going to be hard for your computer to process it, and you'll find that things really lag. And anyways, be sure you do that first. So once you have them expanded, then you're ready. I'm going to zoom out a little. You can use your navigator to do that, or Command minus. And now we're going to option drag the shapes, and we want 3 of each. We're only going to make 1 row. We're going to get it perfect, and then we'll copy that row. Okay, so we're not making a bunch of rows until we're ready. So option drag. If you've made more, actually, just delete them for now. 2. So we really want 3 of each. Don't really worry about getting them straight. We're going to make the computer do that work. Then, once you have them copied, select them all by drawing a big box around them, or you could shift-click them each individually also. So align tools live near where Pathfinder is. So Pathfinder's here, align is here. And actually when you have Pathfinder open, notice that align is open too. It's just tabbed over. So these 3 tools are connected: Pathfinder, Transform, and Align. When you look at the align tools, you'll see little pictures of boxes with lines next to them. The boxes, or the rectangles, represent shapes. The lines represent what it's going to align to. As you hover over it, you can see it too. It'll tell you. So we have horizontal align left, horizontal align center, horizontal align right, vertical align top, vertical align center, and vertical align bottom. So if we just needed everything to go to the bottom or the top, we'd use those. For what we're doing, we want them to be centered. So we're going to center, but we're not going to use this one, right? If we use the horizontal align center, they're all going to fly into one, like that. So I'm going to undo that. That's wrong. I want to use the other center, this one, vertical align center. And now they're nice and even with each other. The next step is to get the distance even. So these spaces in between, the negative space going this way, is not even. And we don't have to measure it. We can let the computer do it for us. So once again, we'll grab them. And this time we're going to distribute spacing. So to distribute, it's these two buttons. The lines represent the negative space. The rectangles represent the shapes. So we don't have negative space going this direction, vertical. We actually want the horizontal distribute space. So when you click that button, you'll see that your shapes move, and they'll basically move in between your two end shapes. So if you wanted your line to be longer or shorter, you could always scoot one of them over. I'm going to just use my arrows. And then now if I go to distribute, notice it still distributes. So one way to adjust is to just adjust your end shapes. And then do your distribute until you like that spacing. The other way to do it, and there is another way, is right here if you choose align to, and basically what you can do is, I would say, align to a key object. You could use the artboard too if you wanted it to just go all the way across. Key object is just one of the shapes. So I'm going to say align to key object. It's showing me which one the key is. I could change that if I wanted by clicking. And then I'm going to adjust the setting here. If I say 0, which is the default, then they're going to end up touching each other when I click this button. I can try that. And because of the effects, they might not exactly touch. You might have to do like a negative number to get them to actually touch. You can try that. But that's, just the way to adjust as you go if you want an exact amount of space. Okay, so either way, moving the ends or choosing to align to a key object and then adjusting it. Now once the row is nice and you like how it is, then you're going to group it. Object group. And what that does now is it's made one unit, right? So just like our motifs, even though we know they were made of 6 shapes each, they were one unit, each one. Now that we've grouped a row, we once again have one unit. So even though it looks complicated, it's not. It's like one shape. Now we're going to option drag and we're going to copy those. And we want 6 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you would like to flip every other one, you could do that too. I'm just holding shift and I'm grabbing every other one. And then I'm going to go to Object, Transform, Reflect, and I'm going to do a vertical reflect. So depending on your objects, your motifs, sometimes that looks good, sometimes it doesn't. But it's, you can try it if you like how it looks. Okay, so now we have it. It's kind of checkerboardy. Okay, so once you get those now, grab all of them by drawing a big box around them. And this time we're going to align to either the left side or the right side to get them nice and straight. And, so that's going to be on this end here or the third one from the left. Now they're pretty straight. Then the spacing I want to distribute now is this spacing going in this direction because I've already done the spacing going this way. So when I go to click for distribute, it's going to be the opposite space. And if I want the same amount of space that I used to space them out the other direction, then I'm going to want to do an align to key object. And notice the key object is the whole row, right? Because the computer sees that as a one unit, not as a bunch of shapes. So I'll leave that as my key, and then I'll do my distribute spacing button. And that's evenly spaced those out now. Now if I want less space, I can do adjustments, but you might have to ungroup things to do it. I think I probably would definitely tighten this up a little. So I would drop it maybe to 0 and then try it. Oops, wrong button. You'll know if you click the wrong button, it'll go off in the wrong direction. If you don't want to use the align to options, you can also just move a row, just like we did before with the ends. I could move either end row up, and then I could grab and I can distribute that way too. And that's going to tighten them up.
Which one did you press?
The other one, not the same one we did for the row. So it's, instead of horizontal, it's vertical distribute space. Now once you have that, please shrink that down so that it fits on the document so that I can see it easily. I don't want to have to open each of these. I'd rather just do preview to view them. And if they're out here, I will not see them. So they need to be within this frame. And then you can group this and make this one unit too. Object group. And now this is a 1. And then you can save that. Just save it, last name, first name, EX7. And that's all there is to it for this exercise. So now you're ready to do the pattern project, which is going to have one more motif added into it. And so you'll need to make one that goes with it. So you can kind of look at what you've already got. And if you feel like you need anything, then, add to it. Let me show these again. Here's samples from previous years. So it's kind of like a rug-like design. So we're using the design principle of pattern, and then we're using motifs. And you have to use at least 3. You could make more. This person has 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But minimum of 3. And then, this is a design project, so we're trying to be creative and do something interesting with the way we lay this out. Having borders can be really nice. I'll demo starting it so you guys get an idea of how to start it.